Let's have a look at the laser cutting templates. You would have received a link to these templates in an email confirming your laser cutting session. You can also find it on our DMAF website under laser cutters. We have two templates because we have two sizes of laser cutters. Download the size you need and open it up. We always edit our file in the top view and use these layout views to send our vectors to the laser cutter. Back to the top view, you can use all this space around the layout areas to compose your work. Anything inside these layout boxes will end up in the layout view and be cut. Over here, we have your layers. These layers I'm toggling on and off are locked. We really only want to create our lines in these unlocked layers. Our material boundary layer is a no print layer, meaning it won't cut any of the lines made in that layer. That's because the material boundary layer is really just used to help us understand how big our material is. To move between layers, just double click into it. This tick moves to show we are now active in that layer. My material is a half sheet of 3mm ply. I can see on the website that these sheets are 800 by 400mm. I'm going to use the rectangle tool to mark this out. Next in the layers list we have Raster hatch. I'm going to double click into that. What do these two words mean, raster and hatch? Well, raster is the process of scanning back and forth to etch our surface. It doesn't cut all the way through. Can you see it slowly colouring in our shape? Yeah, the process is quite slow, so keep that in mind if you're rastering in your booking session. Make sure you have a big enough time slot. Now a hatch is the area that we are etching in. It will be represented by a solid black block. You can use the hatch command in Rhino to create those solid block areas. All the layers from here on down in the layers list are looking for vectors to follow, so only the raster hatch layer should have those hatches in it. Lines made in the perforation layer look red in Rhino, but they come out as dashed lines like this when cut. These dashed perforated lines can be useful for creating tear or fold lines. We have two blue scoring layers, light blue and darker blue for deep and for light. Scoring lines don't cut all the way through. They just go through some of the material to create a fold line or perhaps to make a mark like labeling your pieces. Use the green cut links layer for when you want just a few little uncut tabs to hold your work in. You can cut these tabs out later by hand. Last, we have 4 cut layers. They all do the same thing, but the machine will start by cutting cut layer 1 and then cut layer 2 and so on. Sorting the cut sequence can be important for preserving your shapes if things move. It's best to cut from the inside lines to the outside lines. Take this letter O for example. If we cut starting with the inside lines, then the outside lines, we get the shape we want, even if things do move a little. If we cut things the wrong way, with our cut lines starting on the outside to the in, we don't get the shape we want if things accidentally move. Having these 4 sequential cut layers also allows us to dissipate heat if we're using plastic like polypropylene. Here, we see that by alternating our cuts in this polypropylene, we can allow the material to cool and reduce our warping. Of course, it's best to have your laser cutting file preparation done before you arrive at your booking. Editing your file in a paid-for time slot is costing you money. Happy laser cutting!